Hello again. After this long weekend, we're trying to finish up some leftovers. And this is one. So this is in Hermitage by Bernard Faurie from 1987 that I was able to procure from the estate. So really good provenance. When we opened it, it was just, the cork was perfect. The fill was all the way up to here, and there was no depression in the cork, and it was just terrific. So there's nothing to do on that front. We did open it 2 days ago, and it was still very close, and we couldn't really get it to talk to us, which is sort of an interesting thing after 35 years. Faurie is one of these really big names in Hermitage, incredibly traditional, been making really good wines, and sort of almost under the radar, except for people who really know the area, for years and years and decades. He just retired 2 years ago, and I think his nephew's taken over some of his Saint Joseph's, but I'm not sure what's going on with the Hermitage vines. In any case, he makes several different blends. He's got different capsules that now it's become really one of those geeky stories with Faurie about knowing what capsule represents what color capsules. That's now not at this time. What color capsule represent what assemblage from Bessard, Méal, Greffieux, 2 out of the 3 or 3 out of the 3, and so forth. I've been buying lately the Bessard Méal, so the ones that are sort of higher up on the hill. Greffieux is its own character. It's always softer, a little bit more easy to drink, let's say, because at the bottom of the hill it gets more sun, it matures faster and sooner. But back in the days, he was still making these bottles. It was very hard to know the assemblage. The label is really just great and a throwback to earlier ages, and so that's kind of the story of Faurie. Anyway, here we are 2 days later. Let's hope and see if this thing has opened up. This is all that's left, so enough to have a sip, but not or a taste, or share it with you, but not necessarily enough to really have this whole thing around a meal again. Let's say. So anyway, on the color, you look at it. It's still pretty young looking. It's not brown. It hasn't evolved very much. Just around the edges, you've got this little bit of this orange brown tint. It's hard to see, but in the thick of it, it's still very, very red, sort of dark Syrah red, and very, very full. It's unfined and very lightly filtered, so you're gonna get that. Although there's not a lot of sediment, but maybe because the bottle was treated at the estate. Anyway, let's on the nose, it's still a lot of acidity, which was the biggest thing on Sunday with us, and it was a little bit distracting from other things at the time. But now you get a little bit more of that hard candy, sort of sour cherry, with a little bit of floral, more floral than fruit, really sort of the violet, Syrah typical note. And just a little bit of alcohol. These are not very alcoholic wines. I think probably between 12 and 13%. 13%. This is a 35-year-old bottle, so it's still remarkably well put together after all this time. On the palate, still a lot of acidity, but it does blend nicely with the umami and some of the earthy, sort of earth tertiary notes. There's a bit of tannin that stays on the front of the mouth. The finish is nice. It's very subtle. There's no tannin on the finish, no acidity on the finish. It's more of a bitter chocolate, semi-bitter chocolate situation here. It's really one of those things where, think about it, 48 hours really is what it took for this thing to be. It's not going to keep evolving. I think this is what this bottle tastes like. It's got an interesting mix of acidity and other notes. Maybe too much acidity for some people. but people who like Burgundy would love this kind of acidity. So it's really very well made, still very well preserved, and I wish we opened it, even earlier, that we could enjoy it. But this is something that's good to know in case we have other really old vintages of Faurie that come our way. Very interesting bottle, great producer. The newer ones, we had the 2010 on this channel that we shared earlier, about a year ago, and it was just incredible. So really high quality stuff, and you won't regret, exploring a bottle of this. Cheers, and see you soon.